Welcome to Hidden Hilltop Homestead. Today we are hitting the ground running. I am going to be finishing this quilt today. It is time. So this is going to go in the washer, and I'm going to throw in a couple pieces of color catcher for catching that color that will inevitably run. Even if you pre-wash your fabric, you should always use color catcher. And then I use a scoop of laundry detergent and wash and dry like normal. So I'll catch you here with the reveal in just a second. This is my finished forest floral 60 by 60 rag throw quilt. It's gorgeous, beautiful. I love it. It turned out so pretty. I love all the pretty patterns and colors. It's amazing. And see, these are the color catchers. So they should be white, but as you can see, they're like brown and tan. So they're definitely with some color coming off. It's better to have them on here than on your quilt somewhere else. And also, I'm going to be popping my quilt in this protective bag, throwing it on the shelf, and getting it listed on Facebook. Moving right along into the next project for today, I am making an American flag rag quilt, and I have about 2 weeks to get this done. So we are in overdrive today. I'm going to spare you the mundane repetitiveness of watching me pin squares, and we're going to fast forward. So I have a stack of red here, and I'm actually short 6 squares of red, so I'm gonna have to buy a tiny bit of fabric for that. I need 77 total, and I have 71, which is a bummer. But moving on to blue. So this quilt requires 195 squares. We need 49 blue, 77 red, and 69 white. I think I'm going to be good on the blue. I have 4 different fabrics to pick from, so I'm just going to try to make sure I have a good variety. And then, yeah, we'll finish up the blue, make sure I have enough, and we'll move on to white. So good news is we had plenty of blue and looking good. So, now we're going to move on to the white. And I will have to go pick up some fabric for the 5 red that I need. Right, Chloe? So, fun fact, it's looking like we're not going to have enough white or backing. So yeah, the fly is a paid actor, by the way. We're gonna need to get like, what do we need? 13 white and 39 backing. So I need to get like a 1/4 yard of something, and then probably just a yard of backing, and that should be enough. So I'm going to pin everything that I can and work on what I can, and then I'm going to have to do a Hobby Lobby run so that I can get the backing and stuff that I need. So let's just keep on keeping on. Alright, so I took a trip to Hobby Lobby. I got 1/2 yard of this off-white. It's got like stars and circles on it. So this will be perfect for a patriotic blanket. And then I also got a yard of the flannel for the back and a 1/4 yard of red to finish off what I need for that. So now I should have enough fabric to get everything cut. By the way, once I'm actually done with this, I'm going to throw together a tutorial for this blanket with like specific measurements and stuff. I'm just kind of winging it at this point because I wasn't expecting to have such a different size blanket than what I normally make. So once I get everything ironed out here, I will have a tutorial. So if you want to make one of these, you can watch that and have a little bit more success than I'm having currently. So come to find out, I'm actually 5 squares short in backing material, so I had to go back to Hobby Lobby, and I actually found these skeins of off the hook They're like loop yarn. They're $3, kind of hard to see the tag. But I got 6 of them, and they still have these in stock at Joann's if I need more. But I got my 1/4 yard of fabric. Totally worth it. Let's get back to the quilt. No more trips to Hobby Lobby, please. Alright, I just finished the last of the remaining 5. That's it. No more cutting squares. We're done. Time to sew it and get this blanket organized. Okie dokie, we are done with all of the quilting. We have our colors separated here in our whites, blues, and reds. And I have everything separated into patterns as well. So now what I'm going to do is take out my handy dandy drawing and I'm going to start building my rows. I have 7 blue and then 8 red in the first row, and then we're going to do 7 blue, 8 white in the second row, so on and so forth. And then when we get down to the bottom, it's going to be 15 white, 15 red, yada 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 yada. Finish it up. So I'm going to go ahead and start laying this out. I'm actually going to be doing it here on my craft table, which is kind of like a scrunched up area, but I would highly suggest that you do this on a open flat surface. So like if you have a bed, a table, the floor, really helps you lay out your design and make sure that you don't have like any overlapping patterns or touching patterns when you're trying to like be sporadic like I'm gonna do, which I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get going. Got all the whites laid out over here. Blues and reds are over here on the craft cart. So now I'm just gonna lay everything out to the best of my ability, play around with how the design looks, and I'm overlapping everything because I'm scrunching this up into a tiny area. If you've never done a rag quilt before, it might be beneficial to actually lay your squares out side by side to get a better look of how it's going to actually look when it's finished. This is just how I build my quilts because this is the work area that I have. But when you lay it out, you're able to see like what the pattern's actually going to look like. And this is kind of like what the blue options are. I have a couple stars and then I have like a paisley blue pattern. So it's very interesting, but it's going to look really cool. Now that I'm done with the 7 blue, I'm going to move on to the 8 red. Alright, first row is done. So let's go ahead and move on to the white. It's going to be the same amount of blue, and then it's just going to be white instead of red. So let's go. And now we're done with the blue again and the white, and I'm just going to repeat this for the next 5 rows. I was a little skeptical at first because I was getting kind of worried about what it was looking like, but it's actually looking pretty good, and I think it's going to be really pretty. So I'm just going to keep going and we'll see what it looks like once I have all the stars done. Alright, now we're getting into the full stripes. So this is the first row of white, and it's starting to really look like a flag now, so that's exciting. But I'm gonna just, fiddle with this. I have a few more rows to do. We have 5 total, 3 white and 3 red. So I'm probably gonna have to move some things around because my stash of colors is not even. So I have a lot of like 3 designs and I don't have a lot of the other 2. So I'm gonna have to get a little creative with this, but I'm just gonna keep laying this stuff out and try to make it work, and then I'll check back later. It's coming together pretty nicely. It is getting a little more difficult because I'm running out of patterns, so I'm gonna have to rearrange some stuff further up in the blanket, but that's alright, that's why we do this. Alright, here is the finished layout. I think it looks amazing. it really gives you perspective of what it's going to look like, even though it's condensed. I mean, that's what the square designs are going to look like. It's pretty awesome. But I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the rows and marking them so that I can start sewing the rows. And we can hopefully get this blanket done within the next couple days. All the rows are stacked, all of the rows are marked, so now I'm just going to start sewing things together and turning this into a blanket. How exciting! Alright, so I'm going to just start putting these rows together. Hopefully I can get a few done over the next day or two, but I am going to be ending the video here, and then we'll pick up on the next vlog where I've made just a little bit more progress. It's a little redundant just sewing these blocks together, but when I start putting the rows together, I'll definitely be showing you that. So thank you very much for sticking around this video, and if you're interested in seeing the progress of this blanket or want to see some more vlogs, that'll be coming out in the future. And I'm also going to be putting out a tutorial for this blanket with a little more in-depth information. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.